Hey guys, we are just hours away from what appears to be the series finale of WandaVision, and if you're like me, you have a ton of questions that you'd love to have answered before the final credits roll. So what I did was put together a list of questions that I personally would love to be addressed in episode 9 of WandaVision. I know your list may be a little different or could be similar to mine, so let's see how far they will go to answer them. Before I get to my list, I'd love to ask you guys to please make sure you hit that like and subscribe buttons, as I'm aiming to reach 500 subs by the end of the month. As always, I appreciate all of your support, and let's get this channel rolling. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. How messed up would it be if Wanda just woke up at the end of episode 9 and realizes that everything that transpired throughout this series was just all in her head? Now, I have this on my list as kind of like a funny question to have there, but there may be some merit as to why I may be thinking that. If you looked at the episode 8, when Wanda is sitting there with her family watching old episodes of Dick Van Dyke, the episode that was highlighted is an episode titled "It May Look Like a Walnut." Within this episode, Dick was watching a science fiction program at night that really freaked him out. Then he went to bed and woke up the next day only to realize that all the events that happened throughout his day were things that was mimicking that program. At the end of the episode, Dick actually does wake up from a nightmare and realizes that it was just all a dream. So again, I know this is not something that's going to happen and it would be pretty messed up, but it had a lot of people on the internet talking about it, so could it happen? Let's hope not. Now, if you remember earlier on in the series, the reason why Jimmy Woo went to New Jersey was to look for a missing witness that was in the witness protection program that all of a sudden just vanished. And that's what brought Jimmy there to Westview, and that's how he bumped into Monica Rambeau, and that's what made Jimmy Woo part of all the events that are happening there at Westview. So will the identity of this missing witness ever be brought up, or was that something that was just, written the script to get Jimmy Woo there and then kind of brushed under the rug? So I'm pretty curious as to who that witness is, so let's see if that's something that they would bother to address. Again, if you remember earlier on in the series, Monica was working with Darcy to try to figure out how to get back into the Hex, and Monica mentions that she has an aerospace engineer friend that can help her out and help her solve the riddle of how to get back in there. We see her text this friend of hers, and we never really got to find out who that was. Now, they eventually found the unit that the vehicle that brought Monica pretty much halfway through the Hex before Monica decided to take it on her own, but we never really got the true identity of who this friend is. So is this something that they're going to address? Is this something again that maybe could be Reed Richards or Wonder Man or somebody we haven't really thought about? There've been a lot of speculation as to who this friend could be, so will that identity be finally revealed at the end of this episode? Who knows, but it'll be interesting to find out. Will we see Photon? We've already seen glimpses of her powers that she seemed to have gathered by her molecules getting messed up with her interference within the Hex, coming out and then going back in. And then we saw that epic showdown that she had with Wanda before Agnes came and took her away. So will we really get to see Monica bring out the full Photon powers that she will eventually have? Will we get a definition of what she has become, and that will lead into future movies or TV shows? It'll be really great to see, because I think in the future of this Marvel universe, Monica is gonna end up being a pretty important character moving forward, and I think that's just very exciting. Who's Agent Franklin? Well, if you remember at the end of episode 2, there was a beekeeper that came out of the sewers there. Later on, we found out that that was an agent named Franklin that Sword hired and tasked to infiltrate the Hex there through the sewer system. And last that we saw, as soon as Wanda saw this person coming out of the sewer, we can only speculate that she got rid of him or maybe assimilated him into the town there. We never knew what happened to poor old Agent Franklin there. So it's a small character, but it would be really interesting to see what happened to this agent. I was really fascinated with all the commercials that we saw throughout the series of WandaVision, and the running theme in all of these commercials were these two actors. Theories that were running around the internet earlier on was that these could possibly be the parents of Wanda. I always thought that these two actors, or the people that you see there, are close to Wanda in some way, but we never really found out. Are we going to find out in episode 9 as to who the identities are of these two individuals? Who knows? But as we know, or as we've been speculating, these commercials have had a lot of hidden meanings in there, and they all involved Wanda in one way or another. So it would be kind of interesting to see who those two actors are. The last commercial that we got in this series was about an antidepressant drug called Nexus. But we never really got a definition or any tie into the series as to what that reference was. For you comic savvy people out there and people like myself who are very thorough with their research, the Nexus is a cross-dimensional gateway which provides a pathway to any and all possible realities in the Marvel comics. Now, Nexus beings are rare individual entities with the ability to affect probability and thus the future, thereby altering the flow of the universal time stream. So we know in Marvel comics that these beings are referred to as Nexus beings, and they are very key of the multiverse. And pretty much we all know that the multiverse is coming with Doctor Strange 2 and the next Spider-Man movie. And you know, it's all been speculated that, you know, Wanda is indeed a Nexus being, but we never really got that clear definition that she is, or was kind of hinted as to Nexus being tied into anything within this series. So it would be interesting if they gave that definition within the final episode. Everything that we've seen within the Hex, Wanda has some sort of hand in, and the kids were born within the Hex. So are they real? You know, if the Hex goes away, will the kids go with her? And if they are real, what will happen to them when the episode is done and when the series is over? Again, if you go back to the comics, the twins actually become part of the Young Avengers. Tommy goes by the name of Speed and Billy goes by the name of Wiccan, and they end up becoming Young Avengers there. So is this something that we're going to see progress through the Marvel Universe? I would love to see that. The two actors they have portraying the kids, the twins there, have been fabulous, and I really love their interactions with Wanda and the chemistry they have together. So it would be a shame if we don't see them continue on within the universe there, but I guess we will see what will happen to the twins there. One of the biggest reveals we saw in this series so far was seeing Quicksilver come back, and it wasn't the Aaron Taylor Johnson Quicksilver that we saw in Age of Ultron, but it was Evan Peters, the actor who portrayed Quicksilver in the Fox X-Men movie series. So we already know that it was Agatha who kind of conjured up somebody and brainwashed them to come into this reality and portray Wanda's brother there. But where did she get this person from? Is it just a coincidence that it happens to be this person that we know as an audience portrayed Quicksilver in a different universe before the Fox buyout from Disney there? So it'll be interesting to see how that is going to end up and how that's going to conclude. We know that he's still running around the Hex because with one of the post-credit scenes that we got, he encounters Monica trying to sneak into the basement there of Agnes. So I think this is one of the biggest mysteries that everyone wants to kind of find an answer to, is who this person is. Is this going to be the new Quicksilver moving forward, and is this the gateway of opening up the multi-dimension that will be introducing the X-Men into the Marvel universe? So time will tell, but I think if this is the one thing that doesn't get answered by the end of this episode, a lot of people are going to be really confused and more than likely frustrated. Now let's talk about Hayward. Look, I'm going to tell you straight up, I do feel like Hayward is not a villain. He is not really a bad guy. He has his intentions there, but his main focus is protecting the people within that town. This is someone who saw what Thanos could do. Yes, he has been manipulating a lot of things, and he's been acting quite like a dick to everyone that he works with, especially to Monica, Jimmy Woo, and Darcy. And he, as we came to find out, he did kind of lie when it came to that security footage, because we found out that Wanda in fact did not steal Vision's body. He had Vision's body within the sword facilities there, looking into the body, and as we now know, used everything that they learned to come up with the white Vision that we are going to see. So will we really find out his true intentions and what he's really been working on, and what's going to happen to him after the series is over? So I think deep down, Hayward is one of the more interesting characters within this series. So it will be really interesting to see how his storyline, if at all, would be concluded within this series. If you follow Twitter, Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen have been mentioning that there was going to be a cameo that's similar to the Luke reveal in season 2 of The Mandalorian, and Paul Bettany was referring to an actor that he's been thrilled and looking forward to working with for a very long time. Now, could they have just been trolling us? Could Paul Bettany have been referring to possibly himself, now that we see that there is another form of Vision that has been introduced to the series? It'll be really interesting to find out if we get any other cameos by series end here, but I do think we are going to see one other person show up, whether it be a Doctor Strange, or could it be Mephisto? Could it be somebody that is working alongside with Agatha there? We will find out for sure, but I think it will be interesting to see what other person or characters we have appearing within the series, and maybe possibly introduced newly into the Marvel universe. Or is it someone that we already know, maybe haven't seen for a while? It'll be really fun and interesting to find out. So let's see what will be revealed. Who's Ralph? Well,
the only way Ralph would remember our anniversary is if there was a beer named June 2nd.
Agnes has been referring to this Ralph character, who we can only assume was her husband throughout the whole series, and we never saw who Ralph was. We saw most of everyone within the town there, with the exception of Ralph. So is Ralph a real person, or was this just a manifestation of a person that Agnes brought up, just to let people know know that she belonged in the town and was happily married there. So it could just be a part of the story that was just used to progress Agnes's story along, and to make her relatable to everyone else within the town. But it would be really interesting to see if this Ralph person is a real person or not. So let's wait and see. Now, there's been a lot of speculation going around that, Vision is going to come back to life one way or another. We are introduced now to White Vision, and we don't know what his role is going to be just yet. There is speculation that in order to have Wanda get out of this hex, or to end the whole hex thing, there will more than likely be this crazy battle at the end that might have Vision going against Vision. Or could it be Vision and Vision going against Wanda? We don't know, but this is one of the things that I think a lot of people are really highly anticipating as this series comes to a conclusion here. There's been speculation that Wanda's version of Vision may morph and merge with the Vision that was created by Sword, and that's how we're gonna get Vision back all over again. Is this somehow gonna tie back to Ultron? We don't know, but I think one of the saddest things that could happen is to once again have Wanda go through another death of Vision right before her eyes. I mean, we all know how this whole scenario and situation already came about, with all the trauma and all the sad things that have happened through Wanda's short time within this Marvel universe. And to have to see Vision die for what would be a possible third time would be quite heartbreaking. So we will see what will happen and what the fate of Vision will be at the end of WandaVision. So that's my list, guys, and let's keep in mind here, it's fun to speculate and it's fun to come up with all of these theories. The one thing that this series has really done is get, the audience and all of the fans of the Marvel Universe talking and, coming up with a lot of different ideas and theories and speculations. But we need to keep an open mind here. Not all of our questions will probably be answered by the end of the series, and not all of the theories that are out there may come true. So let's just trust in Marvel. Let's trust in Kevin Feige. They've been working on these storylines for a while, and I have full confidence that they have a lot of fun and exciting stuff in store for us, and I'm ready for it. I can't wait. How are you guys doing? Is there anything that maybe you have on your list that I didn't mention? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. I always have a lot of fun reading all of your theories and speculations when I've been releasing a lot of the commercials online there for us to enjoy and watch. And let's touch base again once this series comes to an end to see what our final thoughts are. So until next time, guys, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see all of y'all next time.